Oh yeah.
And let's have a party, celebrate, and let's have a good time, you and me, 'cause everything is alright. Just believe you'll see that we gon' make this thing explode.
Hey YouTube family, so Tauntaun777 here. As I said before in the last video that we posted here, I wasn't technically quitting, I was just moving on to, I guess we're going to call it bigger and better things. I think it is. I really enjoy it. So what you're going to be watching here right now is a speed run of me editing a video for the place we discussed in the last video, Overwatch Dojo. The reason why I'm doing this is one is because my boss told me to. He wanted to see what I was doing, so obviously I'll do it that way. Second, I'm doing commentary just so you guys can hear me talk, and I guess I don't know if you miss it or not. I don't know. We're just gonna roll with it anyway. So the programs I'm using here, as you can see, are After Effects and Premiere. I'm going to go over what my editing process is so you guys can understand what I'm doing kind of with it and how some editors will do it, or how, I guess, low-end production works. So right now it's just me and the owner who are working on the videos right now. He does the voice recordings, and he also does some of the video recordings to demonstrate how certain things are done for his drills and whatnot, because I am a scrub and I don't know what I'm doing in the game half the time. But the first thing I'll do, and I don't believe I show it in this video, is going through the script and highlighting and commenting, saying what should go where. So there's certain portions of the script where we're going to do some text, so we'll be doing that in After Effects, and we'll get into that in a minute. And there's other ones where we want to do live demonstrations in the game Overwatch and actually show people what you have to do in the game. Because you can talk and show text and do all these things, but if people don't physically see it and know that it works in the game, then they're just going to, call you liars, and we're trailblazers. That's what we are. That's what we like to call ourselves, are trailblazers. I think that's what we are. Anyways, moving on. So after I do that and I mark up the script and I comment on which sections need to be what, I try my best not to make my boss do a lot of work, because he does enough already with the dojo, and I feel like I'm not doing as much. So I'll try and I'll do some recordings and whatnot. So after I mark up the script, I will go through it, and if there's anything that can be easily demoed because I know what it's saying in the script and I understand and we're on the same wavelength at that point in time, I will go on and I will get a couple of guys to body act or to tune act or whatever you want to call it. Basically, they play the characters and they do what I say as I record them from a third person or first person view. So I do that. I do that a lot with my brother, the Mr. Baggins, or our good friend Jory, and do it with them. Or I'll go onto the dojo's Discord and I'll ask for a couple of guys if we need more than two, and do it that way. So I'll do that. I'll record all that, and then once all that's recorded and everything, I will. Oh, excuse me. And then I will take it into my other computer. Because see, I'm so cool. I have two computers. Don't ask me why. I have an iMac that I edit everything on, and then I have the PC, my gaming PC, that I do all the gaming on. I try to separate work and play. Whether that's a good idea, I don't know right now. But anyways, so I'll get what I know I can record and done, and then if there's stuff on there that I feel like my boss needs to do, because I feel like I don't understand what his vision is, I'll talk to him, and he usually graciously does it, so I appreciate that much. You don't find a lot of bosses or, higher ups or owners or whatnot that'll get their hands dirty a lot of the times. They prefer other people doing it because they already took the work to start the whole thing. So that's one thing I like working with this guy, is he really wants to be hands-on, which is good and bad at some points, but I don't see any bad in it right now because he's not like power hungry or anything. It's not like, Darth Sidious or anything where we get all crazy and build Death Stars and things like that. But that's so off topic. So let's get back on topic. Anyways, so we do all that. I talked to my boss, and he recorded some of the stuff with some other people. And so he did all that. But in the meantime, while he was doing that, I went into After Effects. Or actually, I went into Premiere first. That's what we did first. And I downloaded his VOs that he did. And for some reason with this one, I usually don't have to do this, but with this batch, I had to take all of the audio files into Audacity and then re-export them back out as waves, because for some reason the MP3 that was uploaded to Google Drive was not being read in either Adobe Premiere or any of my other editing software. So, but after they were reconverted and everything, it worked out. And just on a side note, that's not the best thing to do. What probably would have been better is if I would have talked to my boss and asked him to re-export them as waves. That way we don't lose a lot of quality. The more you convert, the more you export a file. So like audio files, if you record it, then you export it out of a program, and then you put it into another program, you edit it more, and then you export it out again, and then you put it into another program, you export it out again. It loses quality over time, over the number of exports you do. And so sometimes, you can't avoid that. And I understand that, and that you're going to see here in a minute that I don't avoid that whatsoever with some of my editing. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. If you're able to do it in just one fluid, program, then do it. But if you can't, and you're more comfortable doing it in one program than moving it to the next program and doing just that one effect and doing things like that, that's totally fine, and it's what works. And if the system ain't broken, there ain't no reason to fix it. So just keep that in mind as you do stuff. So anyways, I go into Premiere after, redoing all these files and whatnot, which only took about 30 minutes, so it wasn't bad. And so did that, and then I went into Premiere, and then I lined up all the audio files and, did the gaps or whatnot, what would sound like a good, natural pause between sentences and sections and whatnot from the files I had. And so that worked out really well. And then once that happened, I tried something new, because I usually don't do it this way, but after that, I got some black video files, and I put them into the timeline under each section of audio, because that's usually how it works, is that each section of audio will be its own clip, or will be a section of clips, or something like that. So, depending on what it says in my script that I marked up, will determine what will happen in that black video. So, after I do all that, I take time to look at the script, I think. Pretty sure, yes, that's what I did. And so do that, look at it, yep. Okay, so everything's lined up, everything's good. So we go to the first one, we look at it and like, okay, so this one needs to be, let's say, I call it a list graphic. That means that we're going to have a title, bit text at the top, the titles it's saying, for this one is like dodging techniques or something. I don't know. I can't remember because I'm trying to do this all off of the top of my head. So, dodging techniques, and then it has like bulleted list or whatnot. So that's my list graphic. That's how I labeled it in the script. So what I will do is I will right-click on the black video. Or actually, I'll select the black video and the audio. I'm sorry, I'm thinking while I'm talking. It's dangerous. I select the audio file and the black video file. I'll right click on it and I'll say turn into After Effects composition. Okay, so what this does is it'll open up After Effects, and I already did this before we did all this. I already opened up my Dojo graphics edits or whatever After Effects project, and it opens up and makes a new composition in After Effects. And so that way I don't have to technically export out video files and then put them into Premiere, and that's where you get the whole video quality loss. And so and I'll explain why I don't do what you're supposed to. But anyways, you can have After Effects compositions in there, and it'll just link it, so that way you don't have to re-export and lose quality of video. So we do that, and I edit that all together. I make all the graphics via that way. But once I make all the graphics, then I export them all out. Okay? So I export them all out because, granted, having this option to do it is amazing. It is awesome. It's so nice for whenever I do my student films, or whenever I'm doing a film or working on TV shows or things like that, working on commercials. It's really nice to have that, so I don't have to technically re-export and have lower quality. But for the dojo and how our timing works, or how my work schedule is to his and things like that, because we're both doing this as a hobby and just doing it for funsies, which is fine. I love it. It really keeps me excited and definitely keeps me on my toes editing wise. But anyways, but we also have a time schedule to keep, and so I have to get rough cuts out. We release videos on every Wednesday. That's our goal right now. So every Wednesday we have to have a video, which is a good goal. I like it. It's the middle of the week. I can live with that. So on the weekends is when I do all my editing. And so, anyways, so exporting out stuff that is a After Effects composition in Premiere, I did it once with the Dojo, and I'm not going to do it again because it took a 10-minute video almost 2.5 hours to export. Now, typically I'd say that's okay, but with a time crunch like that, I know if I export the videos out of After Effects and then put them into Premiere and then export it, it'll knock down that 2.5 hours to roughly 30 minutes at max, if even that, because my render times are fairly realistic and normally not too crazy. So that's how that works, and that's just because of time crunches, and that's where you're in those situations. It's like, okay, so we lose. It's not a lot of quality that you lose because I'm doing it in high quality. I'm doing it in HD 60 FPS, all the editing. So it'll lose a little bit of quality, but not enough to make it look, crappy. Okay, so I'm definitely not out to make things look crappy because that, you guys know me. That's not how I like things. So that's how that'll work. And it works really well because, if I have to turn around and edit something in After Effects, I can just do that, and you'll see it later on. But I can easily, we'll get to that part. We'll get to that part, and I'll explain it when we get there. So anyways, we get all the After Effects compositions done. Okay, cool, sweet. Export them all out, and then we drop them into the timeline and whatnot, as you can see here and there. I don't know where we are in the video, but you might be able to see it. But you'll see me dragging them in and placing them in there. And then once those are all placed, then I go in and I get the demo files that we did where we were in-game in Overwatch doing the demonstrations. And then I'll cut those in and place them into where they need to be and everything like that. And then I think at the beginning I did the intro. And so I put in graphics and whatnot, so our transitions, our lower thirds that promote our Discord and our Patreon. And I think that's about it. Oh, and then our logo transitions and other stuff like that are ending graphics. I put those all in. And then once all that's done, I mix the audio down to settings to where we can hear our boss's voice fairly clearly, at least enough to where it's not too overpowering, but yet it's good enough for people to understand what's going on. And then we have background music to where it fills in the empty spaces, and just to keep a good, upbeat kind of thing to it. And then we have, background noise from whenever we're in the target range. I deleted all those this round because there was just, I don't know. There were some problems with some of the audio where people were talking during the recordings, and it's like, that's where you have to decide as an editor what's more important. The background noise, where we can hear the swoosh of the shurikens and the bullets going out of the gun, and then all of a sudden a random voice pops up. Or is it better just to have it silent so everybody can hear what, the educational portion is, what people are supposed to be learning from it? Okay? Do you want to cause a distraction, or do you want them to focus on learning? Well, obviously our goal for this channel is to focus on learning, so I had to get rid of some of the background noise just for that. And if I'm going to get rid of one background noise, I don't want to be inconsistent, so you want to keep consistency in your editing, so I just got rid of it all, just so that people wouldn't be like, oh, why didn't this clip have it? Well, what about this clip? What is this? So that's just my reasoning behind it. It's definitely probably not the best, but it works. Okay, and so then after that, I make the rough cut. I export it out as a YouTube file, MP4, whatnot, 60 FPS, 1080p, and then I submit the rough draft to our early adapters. Early adapters are people who get to look at the video before we release the final version out on YouTube, and so they get to tell me what I did wrong, which is probably a lot of things most of the time. When I first started, I had lots of errors, basically a lot of spelling errors in my grammar. You all know how this works. I suck at that. English might be my first language, but gibberish is really, really up there. So do all that. Luckily for this video, we only have like 2. So what I do after that is I open up Premiere, and then I open up Discord, and then I go back and forth between Discord and Premiere and find the points where they're talking about, figure out the flaws, and then I fix them. Now, if they're in After Effects, what I do is I close out of Premiere, I save it, and then I close out and whatnot, and then I go into After Effects, and I fix it, and then what I do is I save After Effects, and then I export out that composition, and I replace the one that's in the folder. So what's going to happen here is when I quit out of After Effects and it's done exporting and rendering out, I'll open up Premiere, and it'll automatically have the fixes in there. So I love that. It'll be great. So that's one way to easily fix it. And it would be the same way as if we were doing the whole After Effects composition link. So it works the same way. It's just I like doing the other one because it's a faster render time, and that's what's more important at this point in time is faster renders. And until I get a better computer that can render things a lot faster while using After Effects and Premiere, which won't be anytime soon because I need, according to my brother, at least $3,000 to do that. That's a lot of money, and I have a lot more plans for, that 3G, like pizzas and ramen noodles for college, stuff like that. So anyways, moving on. That's how I do my editing. And then after we get done with all the primary areas that they're asking for, then I put in our final graphics, thank you graphics for people who contributed videos or gameplays or people who did demos. I give them their little, acknowledgement in the video where you see their names just a little bit hazily, not too prominently because we're still focused on the education portion. But yeah, hopefully that all made sense to you guys. I hope it did. But that's just what I do for the dojo. I wanted to put that out there for you guys. Alien, I hope this all makes sense to you. I know that you guys started out just using After Effects, but I like using Premiere basically because for its audio mixing capabilities and also its editing is more fine-tuned than After Effects. After Effects is more of graphic design and creating transitions and what we do. But then putting it into Premiere, I'm able to mix the audio a lot better than in After Effects. So hopefully that makes sense and whatnot. But this is how I edit. This is definitely not like industry standard or professional standard. Every editor will do it differently. Everybody has their own spin on things. Everybody has their own unique way of editing. This is just mine. It's very fast because I sped ran it and whatnot. So, but basically to give you a timetable, this is roughly maybe 10 hours of work. Yeah, because 2 hours a day, roughly. Yeah, I think that's about right. I'm going to go with that's about right. I'll double check and whatnot, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoy this little quick speed run. As I said, videos won't be as consistent as normal. But anyways, so thank you guys for watching. This is Tauntaun777, and I am